People always talk about how Anakin was the chosen one. Like that title was supposed to be a badge of honor or something. But what if it was more of a warning label? I mean, think about it. Chosen for what, exactly? Chosen by whom? Chosen to fix a broken system with zero say in the matter. That's not prophecy. That's a setup with extra steps. From the moment he was born, his life was just a series of people pointing at him and saying, "Yeah, that one's special. Now let's throw him into a war." The Jedi didn't raise him. They repurposed him. The Sith didn't tempt him. They just offered him a slightly shinier leash. It's like he went from a junkyard on Tatooine straight into a high-speed crash course in cosmic disappointment. And don't even get me started on the Jedi Code. No attachments, no emotion, no individuality. Basically a fancy way of saying, pretend to be a robot with a lightsaber, and if you cry, you fail. Anakin didn't just break the rules. He was never built to follow them in the first place, and the galaxy punished him for it over and over again, like that was somehow fair. It's kind of wild how we remember him as Darth Vader, the ultimate villain, the unstoppable force in black armor, when really, he was just a terrified kid in over his head, doing whatever he could to protect the people he loved. And every time he tried, the universe kicked him right back down. Like some kind of cosmic prank with a body count. The man was a war hero, a Jedi Knight, a Sith Lord, and somehow, still a prisoner through it all. His chains just changed shape. And everyone looked the other way, like that was totally normal. Anakin didn't fall from grace. He was shoved off the ledge and told to flap his arms on the way down. In this video, we're breaking down the myth of freedom when it comes to Anakin Skywalker. From Tatooine to Mustafar, from prophecy to puppet. We're digging into how the galaxy's greatest warrior was actually its most tragic slave, emotionally, mentally, ideologically. So grab your blue milk and buckle in, because this one's going to hurt in all the right ways. Let's be honest. We all know Anakin Skywalker as the chosen one. The kid from Tatooine who won a pod race, joined the Jedi, and later burned his limbs off screaming about sand and betrayal. But have you ever stopped to ask, was he ever actually free? Everyone acts like his fall was this big twist, when really, his whole life was just one long descent into another form of control. From Watto to Windu to Sidious. Anakin never actually got a say in who he was. Think about it. He was born into literal slavery. Then he wins a pod race, and suddenly Qui-Gon Jinn strolls in like some mystical talent scout, and tells him he's a messiah, with a midichlorian count higher than Yoda. But here's the catch. He only gets freed on the condition that he ditches his mum, and joins a space cult he's never heard of. That's not destiny. That's a trade deal gone wrong. Then the Jedi take him in. Not out of compassion, but because he might be useful. They don't nurture him. They lecture him. They don't heal his wounds. They tell him to suppress them. It's like they adopted a traumatized war orphan and said, "Hey, please emotionally repress everything and then go fight in a war we technically shouldn't even be involved in." The Jedi called him dangerous before he even had a lightsaber. They didn't trust him, didn't listen to him, and definitely didn't understand him. The only thing they gave him was a list of rules longer than a Coruscant parking policy. No attachments, no emotions, no individuality. Just duty and silence. And the irony is, every time Anakin tried to act on his own instincts, he was punished for it. Not because he was wrong, but because the Jedi didn't like messy emotions. So yeah, maybe he was the chosen one. But chosen for what? Chosen to serve. Chosen to obey. Chosen to break. Here's the part that drives me crazy. Every step of Anakin's journey is packed with people making decisions for him. And somehow, he's always the one blamed when it all goes sideways. The Jedi Order knew he was unstable. They knew he was traumatized. But instead of helping him, they handed him a seat at the grown-ups table and expected him to smile through the war trauma. Palpatine didn't even have to try that hard. Just a few compliments, a little trust, and suddenly Anakin's spilling his secrets like a therapy session with a Sith Lord. And you can't blame him, because Palpatine was literally the first person who didn't treat him like a problem to be managed, but like a weapon to be sharpened. And what does the Jedi Council do in response? They give him a passive-aggressive promotion and tell him to spy on the only guy who's ever been honest with him. It's like giving someone a badge and saying, "Congratulations, now betray your only friend." But also don't get emotional about it, because Jedi code or whatever. The saddest part is that Anakin never stopped trying to do the right thing. He genuinely believed he was saving people, that his power had a purpose, that if he just worked harder, obeyed faster, loved stronger, he could finally protect the ones he cared about. But the galaxy doesn't reward loyalty. It just uses it up. He wanted to free the slaves of Tatooine, but never went back for them. He wanted to save his mother, but arrived just in time to watch her die in his arms. He wanted to protect Padme, but ended up being the reason she didn't survive. Everything he touched, everything he loved, slipped through his fingers like sand, and the galaxy just moved on. The Jedi died. The Republic fell, and Anakin was left with a black suit and a hollow name. Darth Vader, a symbol of fear. But underneath all that armor was a broken man who never got to live his own life, only served someone else's vision of who he should be. Even as Vader, there were glimpses of Anakin still trying to claw his way back, sparing Ahsoka, hesitating with Luke, reaching out from beneath the mask, but the damage had already been done. His soul had been traded away for power that never healed anything, just masked the wounds. Anakin wasn't a villain who lost his way. He was a boy who was never given a real path to begin with. And that, more than anything, is the real tragedy. But here's the thing that gets overlooked. Even with everything stacked against him, Anakin was terrifyingly gifted. The kind of powerful that makes the Force itself take notice. He was the only Jedi who could go toe-to-toe with Obi-Wan, Dooku, and Grievous without breaking a sweat. And he did it while still wrestling with 1,000 emotional landmines. He mastered piloting faster than most Jedi could learn how to meditate, built a protocol droid before puberty, and casually took down entire battalions on the battlefield. There were moments where it felt like nothing could stop him, like if he'd just been pointed in the right direction. He could have reshaped the galaxy with his bare hands. Even Sidious, the puppet master of puppet masters, was in awe of him. Not because of his anger, but because of his potential. Because he saw in Anakin a power so raw and unpredictable. It could only be bent, not broken. And that's exactly what he did. But imagine if that power had been nurtured instead of manipulated. If the Jedi had guided his empathy instead of silencing it. If the Order had embraced his humanity instead of fearing it. We might have seen a version of Anakin that actually lived up to the Chosen One title. Not by destroying the Sith, but by transforming what it meant to be a Jedi. He was a miracle buried beneath orders and ideologies. A storm that never had the chance to rain where it was needed. And for a moment, just a moment, you wonder what could have been if anyone had truly believed in him. And that's where Luke comes in. Because while Anakin was trapped by duty, fear, and prophecy, Luke had something his father never did. A choice. He wasn't raised in a temple. He wasn't handed a title. He was just a farm boy who believed in people. And that belief was enough to change everything. When Luke faced Vader, he didn't see a monster. He saw the man beneath the armor. He saw the scared little boy from Tatooine. The pilot, the brother, the son. And somehow, that connection broke through decades of darkness. That one spark of hope was all Anakin needed to come back. Because for the first time since he was a child, someone looked at him and didn't want anything from him. Didn't expect him to save the galaxy. Didn't tell him what he had to be. Just offered him a hand. And asked him to be himself. Anakin didn't defeat the Emperor with rage. He did it with love. The same love he was told to fear. The same emotion that nearly destroyed him became the only thing strong enough to save him. And through that, he finally broke the last chain that held him. It took a lifetime of obedience, a reign of terror, and a final act of defiance. But in that moment, Anakin Skywalker finally chose for himself. And that choice redeemed everything. But the truth is, even in redemption, Anakin's story is not a happy one. It's not a tale of victory. It's a lesson in what happens when power is used without freedom. When the strongest person in the room is still the most controlled. When someone spends their entire life asking, "Who am I supposed to be?" and never gets to ask, "Who do I want to be?" His life was a cycle of servitude, dressed up as destiny. He served Watto, he served the Jedi, he served the Chancellor, then the Emperor, and finally his son. And in every case, he gave up a part of himself for someone else's vision of the greater good. And the galaxy never really reckoned with that. The statues went up, the stories were told, but no one asked what it cost him. No one talked about the years he lost, the identity he buried, the choices he never got to make. We remember Anakin as a hero, or a villain, but rarely as a victim, and maybe that's the final tragedy. Not that he fell to the dark side, but that we only noticed him when he wore the mask. Because in the end, Anakin Skywalker was never free, and maybe the galaxy was never ready to let him be. Thank you for watching the whole video. I make videos because of my love for Star Wars and Marvel. I've been asked countless times how I get my subtitles, and I generate them automatically with a tool I built. That same tool can be used here on my website. It's completely free and doesn't require signing up. My website contains the subtitle generator that is perfect for any video. Blogging post, where you can sign up with your email and receive notifications for when I post, and also my 3 channels. Critical Analysis Hub focuses on Star Wars and Marvel movies. Critical Analysis Hub Plus looks at Star Wars and Marvel shows. And Critical Analysis Hub XP centers on video games, like The Last of Us series, Jedi Survivor, and GTA 5. Thank you for being a fan.